you may have noticed, Donald Trump has been resorting to some wild lies about my record, and some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
Harris campaign testing out a new line of attack, calling former President Trump and running mate J.D. Vance weird. Vance telling Fox that it doesn't bother him. Watch.
Well, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Look, the price of admission, meaning the price of getting to serve the people of this country, is the Democrats are going to attack us with everything that they have. I think it's an honor. As Harry Truman once said, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. We want to make this country better. I think President Trump has taken a lot more than I have over the past 8 years, and I think he's shown a good example for how to persevere.
All right, let's bring in Karl Rove, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff for President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor. Karl, always good to see you. Obviously, this is the new attack line. They're trying to create this weird narrative around Trump and Vance. What do you make of it? You know, there's a piece in Axios today that's titled "Trump's Insult Trap: Republicans Hunt for Elusive Harris Attack Line." The MAGA universe that surrounds Trump, ranging from conservative influencers to his campaign, is grasping for new attack lines that won't alienate women or black voters they need to win. Your thoughts on all that, on both sides?
Well, look, J.D. Vance had sort of a lengthy, in fact, I think too lengthy response to it. The better response is to go on the attack. Say, look, calling us names is what they're going to say. If they can't deal with the fact that the cost of living has exploded on their watch, that the border is a disaster, that the respect for America is deteriorated around the world, and that Harris has beliefs that are not in the mainstream of America. Go on the attack. Now, don't throw the kitchen sink at them. Pick one thing at a time or two things at a time and go after those things. But respond by saying, you know what, that's what you say if you don't want to talk about the fact you got a failed record on inflation, which is eating up families' ability to provide for their children and for themselves. And then pivot. You need to get back. What would Trump do? People want to know what these people want to do. So it's not just enough to say you have failed on cost of living or you failed on the border, but here's what we're going to do. So dismiss them and minimize them by spending less time, not more time. Problem with J.D. Vance in that response was fine, very artful, detailed, blah, 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 but way too long and missed the opportunity to go on the offense. We have 100 days. We have less than that when it comes to the number of days before people voting. And the side that gets on the offense and stays on the offense is going to have the upper hand in what could be a very, very close race.
Very close. Pennsylvania, I think, starts in, 40 days, maybe a little bit less than that now, Karl. What about the impact of all of this on some of these Senate races across the country? How are you gaming this? How are you discussing it?
Well, one of the things that would concern me if I was in the high command of the Trump campaign is that they are being outspent at the state level by the state Democratic parties over the state Republican parties on the ground game. And unless the Trump campaign is going to be able to even that up, they're going to have a problem with marginally bigger turnout because of two things. One is more excitement about Kamala Harris than you had about Joe Biden. And second of all, a much larger ground game activity undergoing in places like Wisconsin, where I saw a report today that suggested that the Republicans over the course of this entire year, which did include a special election for the Supreme Court earlier in the spring, that Democrats have outspent the Republicans on ground game activity 10-1. That's a problem, and you got to get that evened up.
Karl, this is something that has been talked about since the 2022 midterms, and certainly after the 2020 election. Ground game, early voting, getting people out. The Democrats are better at it than Republicans. So what if Republicans, why aren't they better at it by now? You're less than 100 days from this election cycle. So what do you say to them?
Well, maybe they are. I'm not in a battleground state, but I was talking to somebody in a battleground state, namely Michigan, who told me that a person who had been involved, a lawyer who'd been involved in Election Day activity in 2020 and 2022, said, you know what, nobody's bothered to call me for 2024. Now, maybe that's because the Michigan Republican Party was absolutely a disaster area. They kicked out the old chairman who'd bankrupted the party. The new chairman, a very able guy named Pete Hoekstra, former congressman, former ambassador, took over and found nothing in the headquarters. So maybe the list of names is gone, but that's a problem if the Republicans don't have their game together their ground game together to get this election run.
Well, it's not like they haven't had any warning over the last couple of cycles. So and then you've had a change at the top. Ronna McDaniel out at the RNC, and Whatley and Lara Trump in order to get the act together on that front. So I mean, it's going to be, I think, a story if that has not been changed. If that game is just dead in the water.
Yeah, it's not just, though, at the national level. You've got to get this thing done at the state and local level. You have to have strong party organizations at the state and local level. It can't all be done out of Washington, D.C.
Yeah. All right. Amazing. Karl, thank you very much. Karl Rove, always good to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.